This is the K95.3 Sports Show podcast, brought to you by the Fan Zone in Wilmer's Candy Mall.
Welcome to the K95.3 Sports Show podcast on YouTube. I am Beau. I am your host as usual. If you listen and you like what you hear, please hit subscribe. If you're on your cell phone, hit the bell next to it and you'll get push notifications on your phone letting you know when I drop the new episode every Wednesday. Thank you to the Fan Zone for sponsoring this. Please stop in at the Candy Mall and buy some sports stuff from them. Also, I'll be announcing the fourth word of our Gopher ticket giveaway for the Gopher Indiana game in February. I believe it's February 16th. So listen for the fourth word given away today. If you missed a week, you can go back and listen to the previous 3 weeks and find the word of the week. And I will be asking you to email me at k953sportshow@gmail.com right after this. So get the 4 words, email me, k953sportshow@gmail.com, and you are going to be put in to the hat for a chance to win 4 Gopher tickets to the Indiana Gophers basketball game in February. As usual, if you got your Mount Rushmore Vikings players, please email those to me at that same email for a chance to be on my show in the future. So let's get to our guests. I think I'm going to kind of make it tradition as long as it continues, the show continues to go on, hopefully next year too, as this will be kind of our I think our Viking Packer Border Battle Week group. So I got, as I did the first time, I got Dr. Brian Paulson here. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great. Probably better than the Vikings.
Yeah, probably. Well, you said great, so you are definitely doing better than the Vikings.
Yes.
And, of course, we've got our token Packer fan, Scott Watkins. Scott, how are you doing? I'm assuming if you say great, you're also doing better than the Packers.
That is correct. I'm doing very well. I appreciate having me here.
Yeah, no problem, man, no problem. So let's jump in it. Like I said, I like to try to start off with a positive when we're coming off a loss. Boy, was it tough to find a positive. I guess if you want to look at a positive, my only positive part is we held their offense to 17 points defensively. Even though we had lots of stupid penalties, we gave up some big plays, we held them to 17 points.
The defense kept us in the game.
I'll say for sure.
Harris stepped up. There was a nice positive.
Yeah,
he's actually been playing pretty well.
Yeah, was it his second pick or was his first pick the one that he fought it away? He pulled it away.
That was his first one. I think the second one was the center field catch.
Oh, yes, you're right. So yeah, that alone was great. Was the great taking the ball away from the wide receiver. It was a straight up jump ball and he just straight out fought him for it, and that was impressive. That was nice to see. Other than that,
it's pretty tough, isn't it? He's sitting laughing, trying to come up with positives for the Vikings, but the defense kept them in the game. The defense did what they were supposed to do.
Yep.
When we get to the negatives, we'll have plenty to talk about, especially on the offense, I imagine.
Yeah, well, let's jump to that. I'm sure we'll jump back and forth between the defense and offense. I mean, like I said, there was no glaring horrible things. It was just a badly played game all around for the Vikings. I just felt like that. Let's get to the O-line. I mean, they had okay moments and they had bad moments. I mean, he wasn't getting collapsed constantly. I mean, you take a look and actually he was only sacked twice and only 4 quarterback hits, but it seemed like he was getting rid of the ball extremely fast every time, no matter what.
Pressure was on. The one thing that was really frustrating me, though, was watching the offensive line. And, when I think about it, maybe Tony Sperano losing him was a big, big hit.
I think so.
Because you watch that line, and given they're not the best line in the world, but they were just missing. Who's the big guy along Mac?
Hicks?
Yeah, Hicks.
Hicks, yeah. He was
coming in free.
It was like
you'd see a guy reach out, but I mean, there was nothing. There was no one getting in his way. I mean, I think I could have fallen over and gotten his way better than they could have, and that's not saying much.
Yeah, no, Hicks had probably one of his career games. He was just everywhere. Did you watch the game, Scott, or did you?
I was with some friends. We had the game on. Was watching it. I wasn't paying close attention, but yeah. I was happy most of the game.
Yeah.
It's tough to say that with the Bears.
Yeah,
because that's
exactly. Yeah. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
Exactly.
My other thing, too, is Cousins. What's with the, 19 batted down or at the line? Or what's he up to now, 20?
Yeah, he had a couple more again.
I just don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't know if once again, that might be on the offensive line not making, passing lanes for him. You know what I mean? If they know the ball is going to go to the right, then I would assume, I'm not going to lie, I've never been in an offensive line meeting ever in the NFL, so I can't tell you. But I would assume they'd be like, okay, we're going to go to the right. Let's get a passing lane going on there. So you try to move your guy. Maybe. I don't know. I'm reaching.
Well, bottom line is I think if you get one or two here and there, okay, we get it. But when you get into the 20s, there's a problem there. And I'm not sure what it is, what he's doing, but, reading some comments last night at NFL.com, you always read some of those deals. And
Yep.
a lot of the Redskin fans were saying, there you go.
No, is it?
He's been doing that before, so who knows?
Yeah, it's, I'm not, and here's the thing, too, is like on my Viking fan page, MN Viking fan page on Facebook, everybody, or not everybody, a lot of people are up there crucifying Cousins again. And I agree he had an off game.
Very off game.
Yeah. And previous games when he was not doing as well, you could point, I think, even more to the offensive line. Like, I think it wasn't as much on the offensive line this game as in maybe a previous bad game, but I see people up there still bringing up Case Keenum, and it's like, okay, guys.
That's got to stop.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, guys, this isn't last year.
How well is he doing this year?
Yeah, I think he went several games in a row without a touchdown pass.
Right.
And so it gets a little annoying seeing people jumping on Cousins. I don't feel it's his fault necessarily. He has a bad game. People have bad games. Tom Brady's led Patriots lost to the Tennessee Titans a couple weeks ago. He had a horrible game.
Yeah, it was bad last night, missing the Diggs route right away at the beginning.
I think him scrambling and throwing on the run was the difference. If he could have planted his feet, if he had time to plant his feet and throw it, I think that would have made a difference. And
he definitely had happy feet, and I wonder if that's the old Khalil Mack factor going on. But, even there was I think it was in the third quarter, there was a 3rd and 3 or something, and wide open in front of him, and he throws an incomplete.
I was going to bring that up.
Tuck the ball, man, and run.
I seriously hope that DeFlippo and Zimmer went to him and said, if you are scrambling out and trying to get a passing lane open, and you see there's nobody in front of you, and you got a couple, just run the ball a couple, because he can run the ball. I mean, he's not
afraid to get hurt.
He's not Tom Brady. That's for darn sure. I mean, Tom Brady looks like
lead in his shoes. Right.
Yeah, I think Brendan Zylstra brought it up last week on the interview. He had me check out the 40-yard dash by Brady. Have you guys seen?
I have. That was pretty bad.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of deer season, it looked like a deer had been shot trying to run away from a hunter. So I mean, he can run, and he does have some speed to him. It's just, I think he's just always thinking pass. His
decision making is a little off lately.
Yeah, so
maybe that's the pressure he feels from the offensive line. I mean,
it might be.
He feels like he's got to make up more.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
But Zimmer talked about that too before the game. He was like, Cousins got to make that, put both hands on the ball and take a step forward or take a step left. Just move up in the pocket a bit, make better decisions. And again, if it's the offensive line or if he's just trying to do too much, who knows? But It's like, settle down, fella.
I did notice between Cook and Murray, they only had 13 carries and 17 yards. So, and actually, I mean, Cousins didn't have a horrible game. I mean, he was 30 for 46, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So not a great game, but I would look a little more even at the rushing game kind of having a little effect too. So
yeah, I don't get what's going on with that. It seems like we have a good rushing game and then we have a bad one, and then we have a good one, and then we have a bad one. There's just really no consistency to it. And once again, that might be on the offensive line and the offensive line coaching in what they're doing there. I don't know. It's a mess either way. Am I throwing the towel in for the season? No. Am I throwing the towel in for the Super Bowl? Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, but I would still like, if we play mistake-free football, I don't see, we've got the talent on both sides of the ball. I don't see why we couldn't beat any team in the NFL because we are a complete team.
Right. Look at the Saints and Rams game.
Yeah.
Probably should have won those both.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
You know, a couple plays here and there, and that's what sinks them.
Yep.
It's like they're just playing with a hangover all year. Like they can't get that fog out. Like they need to get some Taco John's or something. They just to get that gut rot out of there and start playing right. I mean, I don't know what the hangover is from last year, but it's getting a little old as a fan to watch. It's like they're just not clicking.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know what to think about it, and it's getting aggravating. You know, the Bears, you know, well, let's talk about just the Bears for a little bit. And obviously, as a Packer fan, Scott, you can chime in on this because we both don't like the Bears. But I wasn't impressed with their offense. I mean, their defensive line, obviously, very good defensive line. And that falls back on the rest of the defense and helps them out. But offensively, I mean, I wasn't that impressed. I mean, should they win the division? Will they end up winning the division? Probably, because they got a real easy schedule unless they flub up some. But I mean, they're going to be probably a one and done in the playoffs. Anyways, I just feel they don't have the talent on offense that they should. What are your guys, Scott? What do you think?
I agree. Their defense is definitely carrying them right now. I mean, the Mac trade has made a huge difference. Their offense has really improved, though, compared to last year. I think they've already scored more points than they did last year, they said. So their offense at times has flashes of being really good, but then it has, I mean, like you said, they didn't really do a whole lot this last game. I think Trubisky didn't have a very good game, and then he's questionable for this week, I heard.
Yeah, throwing shoulder. I didn't see that until today. Yeah, his throwing shoulder got
But yeah, I mean, it was more the Vikings and Bears, both definitely their strong suit, I would say, are their defenses. Vikings, just on a paper, I would say definitely has a better offense going in.
Other than the offensive line, who would you take off of the Chicago Bears and replace on the Vikings offense?
Probably their tight end, Trey Burton. I mean, Randolph's good, but Burton's really good. He's going to be a stud. But I mean, I'm picking pretty far down the list.
Yeah, I was going to say that was kind of the point I was getting at here.
There's a couple offensive linemen I might.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Besides offensive linemen.
Yeah, I was going to say we could do some of that.
The talent positions, who would you take over any Vikings player? None. I didn't see any either. So I agree. They need. I'm guessing next year they should be probably drafting wide receivers hardcore, because I just don't think they have any game-breaking wide receivers. But it's just, I don't know. I'm just not sold. You know, Chicago does this every 3-4 years. They come out of nowhere, have a good season because they finally, are good enough to beat up on the crap teams that they're forced to play because they finished third or fourth in our division the year before, and they show up for a year, maybe two, and then they disappear again. So, I don't know. I'm just not completely sold on them yet.
I think they stepped up and got a great coach.
I will
like
admit
Nagy.
that. I will
He
admit
turned that team around. The one thing, like the announcers were talking about Collinsworth, and there's a lot of misdirection in that Chicago offense. But the nice thing is I will say this, Zimmer came out and made the adjustments. It was a little rough right away that first quarter.
Totally
they did what they needed to do. But, with the offense, Trubisky's going to be a good quarterback. He is a good quarterback. He does all these great things, and all of a sudden he does a dumb, boneheaded interception. I mean, that one to Harris was, all three of us could have caught that one.
Yeah.
It was pretty
horrible.
simple.
Yep.
And so, if he cleans those mistakes up, they're going to be a quality team for a while. But, maybe it's only a second year. You got to give them that. But
yeah,
Chicago's going to be there for a while. But I'm not sold on them either.
Yeah.
Yet.
No. I agree.
Not yet.
I agree. Well, I mean, is there any final thoughts you want to talk about of the game, Brian, at all? Or is there anything? I mean, I'm sure we're missing something because it's just, I was in
How about the play calling?
Yeah, no, I've not been happy. In previous episodes, I've talked about DeFlippo's lack of quality play calling, if to be nice.
Especially with the run game.
Yeah.
It's very predictable.
Yep.
And it's that long, drawn-out handoff that the Bears were licking their chops. It was, a JV team could have stopped some of those.
We got one or two tight ends out there, maybe the fullback, and then the wide receiver will motion right behind the tight end. It's like, oh, wow, I wonder what's going to happen, and 80% of the time it's a run.
And maybe do a no huddle most of the game. I mean, when the Vikings go to no huddle, they're actually unstoppable. It seems like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That second half, we did a lot of no huddle and a lot of hurry up.
Maybe do a no huddle the first half of the game and then slow it down the second half. Who knows?
Yeah.
Just get some points on right away.
Yeah, I think he's definitely having some growing pains, going from just a quarterback's coach to the offensive coordinator. That's fine. It's going to happen, and we hopefully he learns throughout this year, and next year when he comes back, it'll be totally different. But I'm not willing to write him off completely as a flop just because of a half of a season and having some bad games. But it's definitely something we got to keep an eye on the rest of the year and beginning of next year, I feel.
Yeah, he needs some creativity.
Yeah, exactly. That's a young guy like that.
It's just you catching the theme already, though. Next year.
Yeah,
next year.
I know. Well, I mean,
next year.
Like I said, the Rams and Saints look really good. It's their year, it seems. But like I said, though, like I pointed out at the beginning of the season too, the New York Giants played when the year they won the Super Bowl. They snuck in. The Packers, their only Super Bowl win with Rodgers was they came in as a 6 seed, and they went through and marched through the playoffs and won. The Vikings are currently at the 6th seed right now in the playoffs. So, I mean, it's possible to have a team that'll just hit their mark at the end of the season and ride it through the Super Bowl. So it is possible, less and less possible every week. But yeah, no, it's...
I would love to see the Vikings just hit their stride.
Yeah.
Like you said, they got too much talent. And if they would just shake the fog out or whatever and play... I mean, look how they did against New Orleans. Yep. Easy a game they should have won. You look at the stats; they should have won that game.
Oh yeah.
You look at even against the Rams
on a short week.
Yeah, look at the Rams
at LA after getting just brutalized by Buffalo.
Right, embarrassed.
Upset. Yeah. It's like
they got it. They just got to put it together.
That's what I'm saying. If they play their game, I don't see them.
You just like to have seen it by now.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see consistency.
Right.
That's the key word, consistency.
Nobody wants a Super Bowl champion that's 9-6. I mean, I'd take it, obviously, but you'd like a 13-3 team going into the playoffs.
Hey, yeah, exactly. When you win the Super Bowl, you don't talk about much of the season. It's you won the Super Bowl. Right. I don't care how you win it, just win it.
We'll take anything as Viking fans right now.
Yeah, exactly. Probably Packer fans too would probably take anything right now too with their one-man team. But so let's go on. Speaking of Packers. Let's go ahead and talk about the game on Sunday night. We're both limping into it. This isn't a normal Vikings-Packer game where we're jockeying for division win or to win the division or anything like that. So I mean, Scott, what's your thoughts on your Packers as of right now? Obviously, seems kind of the same script over and over again. I mean, I do see they're giving Jones more touches. So I think that's good for you guys because I believe he's definitely the better back out of the backfield for you. Let me know what's your thoughts recently on the Packers and coming into this game.
Aaron Jones subject, he's definitely by far the best running back they have. Once again, McCarthy's overthinking things. In my opinion, he should have been in there a few weeks ago. I mean, anybody that's seen him play can tell that his talent is stunning compared to all the other ones that they have.
I was hearing that before the season even started.
Yeah, when he had flashes last year, then he got suspended for the first 3 games of the year. But, I mean, if you're going to have him on your team and he's going to help your team win, you got to use him, especially when it helps Rodgers because that opens up the offense or the passing game more. Packers are, what you guys just said about the Vikings, very inconsistent. They haven't played a complete game all year. They're 4-5-1. They're 0-5 on the road. And I think every road game has been within a touchdown except for the New England game, which they were into that until Aaron Jones happened to fumble. Other than that, it's been close. They just haven't pulled them off. They had the one tie at home against the Vikings, obviously. They had the game one, and then the Vikings had the game one, and then the Vikings pretty much gave it back to them by missing those field goals because the Vikings should have won that game in the end. In my opinion, they shouldn't have had a chance to win the game, but that's because of the call, which they've the defense, we talked about that last time in here. The defense does seem like they have adjusted. I think I seen it called last night, and I haven't seen that called for a long time, landing on the quarterback after the first 2-3 weeks. So hopefully they're figuring that out. But, yeah, it's just the Packers. It's a must-win game for the Packers. Both teams need to win, but the Packers going down under 500 by 2, it's going to pretty much knock them out of the playoffs. So I think it's more of a must-win for the Packers than the Vikings, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's just, and obviously, you compare even the Vikings with the Packers once again. Other than Rodgers and Adams, again, who on the defense would you take? On your defense, would you take over a Vikings defensive player? Maybe Matthews, but I mean, let's be honest, he's not who he was.
Our best defensive player is Martinez by far. I mean,
I suppose linebacker.
I think he actually leads the league in tackles.
He's good. He's a solid
player. He's a stud. He was good last year, and he's a stud this year. Jabari, their new defensive back, if he stays healthy, he seems like he could be actually a shutdown D-back, but we haven't got a big enough sample size. But when he has been playing, he's been really good. But there again, when he has been playing, it doesn't do any good when you're hurt.
Yeah, and I think what I'm trying to get to on this part is that with the Packers, it's still all about Aaron Rodgers. I mean, let's put an average quarterback on the Packers team the last 10 years. Would they have made the playoffs?
Not at all. I don't think.
Maybe snuck in a year.
They maybe would have snuck in a few years.
But as a wild card, but definitely not a division winner. And that's even though I just hate Aaron Rodgers in his stupid little cocky, smug smile.
He's so good though. Oh, I hate it.
But if I had to start a team and I could choose almost any quarterback ever played, I hate to say it, I would probably pick Rodgers.
He's up there.
I mean, I don't want to say it, but I would take him because if you ask me, I think just pure talent, he's purely talented, one of the best all-time quarterbacks just there alone. When he ends with his stats at the end of his career, he might not be up there just because of the teams he was in with, but I would probably take him to start my team if I could choose. Montana, Young, any of those, Elway, Favre, I would probably take Rodgers just because of what he has done with so little talent around him. I mean, I don't want to take, it's I'm sure it's hard to hear this coming from a Viking fan because obviously, Super Bowl, blah, 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 blah. But you guys, if I was a Packer fan, I would be so pissed at the Packers organization for wasting, like I just said, the best quarterback of all time getting one Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, we got a couple of years left, and maybe there's a chance, but one Super Bowl? I mean, is that talked about as through other Packer fans? I mean,
I have that conversation all the time with friends. I finally got more people on my bandwagon, the Fire McCarthy bandwagon, because
I agree. I don't think he lasts.
I think I mentioned this when I was in here last time that I'm not a McCarthy fan, not a backer. I think he's done nothing with the talent he's got, and I mean, he's got probably two of the top 10 all-time quarterbacks with Favre and Rodgers, if not two of the top 5 or 6.
Oh, exactly.
And he's got one ring because Holmgren's got the ring before that, and Holmgren made Favre the quarterback he is. Favre's got raw talent too, but Favre, as far as football smarts, Holmgren gave that. Rodgers has got football smarts.
Yep.
Rodgers isn't ever going to come close to the all-time interception record like Rodgers, and I love Favre. But Rodgers, like you said, has got the complete package where Favre did it more on grit and grind and toughness. And
my brother-in-law is a massive Packer fan. Unbelievable how much he eats, breathes, and sleeps green and gold or green and yellow. What do you call it? I don't know.
Either
whatever. Way. He has hated McCarthy from day one. He's not been a fan at all. Yeah. Same with the general management. Maybe that's changed now. That just recently changed. But I mean, you go back to Rodgers this year. I mean, through 10 games, what he's got, 19 touchdown passes, 1 interception, over 3,000 yards, and a passer rating of 102.2, and yet they're 4-5-1. So
that's what I'm saying.
And out of the last Seattle game, he mentioned the word frustration basically in various forms 6 times. After
and their defense has improved, and they're still 4-5-1. So you tell me how good a coach McCarthy is.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. If I was a Packer fan, which one, thank God I'm not, but two, if I was, I'd be in a lot of therapy.
I would.
I mean,
even though I should be as a Vikings fan, but
other than what other quarterbacks that's been a great quarterback has a team just totally wasted their career? Marino, the Dolphins.
I was going to say Marino, but they got him one finally.
Moon.
We could we could drop a quarterback and think about Barry Sanders.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, another
compare a player to player.
Compare greatness.
Right.
He left before he was done, but that was his choice. But yeah, he was awesome especially considering how bad. Usually, a running back has a tough time on a bad team because
he was
have to
amazing.
worry about that running back.
Yep.
But yeah, he was just amazing.
I agree. I just feel that the Packers have wasted Rodgers' talent, which, like I said, I admitted that he is probably the best pure talent quarterback.
It's painful to say that as a Vikings fan, but it's absolutely true.
It is, but don't get me wrong. I still hate the guy.
Well, yeah.
I would love to punch that smirk off of his face.
I'm glad this is recorded.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll call in next week. We can talk to him.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a football fan who prefers the Vikings. So I mean, I can take I've always tried to pride myself on not drinking the Kool-Aid to a point. I will to a point, but I'm not swimming in it. And so I have no problem admitting that Rodgers is arguably the best quarterback of all time, and I would take him. But if
you're a football fan, you got to say that.
Yeah, exactly. So
on pure talent, and I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but on career-wise, you got to give it to Brady, in my opinion. And I don't. If you put the Rodgers on the Patriots and vice versa with Brady,
no different.
Rodgers.
I would argue more. I would argue more Super Bowls.
Rodgers would probably have more Super Bowls because
100% agree.
Brady is a product of the system.
100% agree. If those Giants,
and
those losses to the Giants,
but Super Bowl rings are Super Bowl rings, so I got to give them props for that.
No, I agree. If you're going just purely on accomplishments, you kind of have to talk about Brady. But I 100% agree. If they swapped, I guarantee. I don't want to say guarantee, but I almost can guarantee that those Super Bowl losses that the Patriots had probably would have been wins with Rodgers. It's painful to say, but it is. But God, that stupid smirk.
You wouldn't dislike him as much, though, if he was on the Patriots, probably. The fact that he's on the Packers.
Patriots. I think it's the Packers, Patriots, Cowboys. Yeah, it's pretty painful. All those.
I mean, I've never been a huge Tom Brady fan either, or a Patriots fan either. So I mean, I might hate him a little less.
Well, Brady's grandparents live in Minnesota, so we got to like that part of him.
One of us.
Yeah, he's got a little Minnesota blood in him, so that's all right.
He's one of us. All right. That's reaching, but we'll take it, I guess.
He'll probably retire as a Viking, so when he's in a walker, he'll play for the Vikings.
That's funny. All right, well, let's talk about what needs to happen for the Vikings to win. For me, it's just play mistake-free football and get to Rodgers, get him rattled. I think literally that's the only two things we need to do.
I'm not so worried about Rodgers. Obviously, he's a great quarterback, but it always seems like the Vikings match up well when they play Rodgers. They always seem to contain him well. If they can contain, and I think our defensive ends are athletic enough to do that, but again, we got to go to that offensive line. There were too many missed blocks. Assignments were not made, and the old cliche, games are won in the trenches. And God, with the Vikings right now, that couldn't be more true.
Yeah, no, that's true. And before we get to what will need to happen for the Packers to win, this week's word for the Golden Gophers ticket giveaway is computer. The word of the week is computer. So get all four words and email me at k953sportshow@gmail.com for your chance to win those tickets. So with the Packers, what do you feel needs to happen, Scott, for your Packers to win?
A couple things. Obviously, let Aaron Jones get some touches, get him the ball either on passes or runs, obviously. And like I said, that'll just free up Rodgers more.
Yep.
Graham is questionable, I've seen.
He said he's going to try to play with his broken finger.
Okay. Which, I mean, their rookie wide receivers have really stepped up this year, in my opinion. I'm not sure Cobb's going to be back. I would think he'd be back soon, but I'm not too worried about that. Obviously, Adams is their big threat. Mm-hmm. And then they've got to get pressure on Cousins. If you let him stand back there, they'll eat the defense up, and then just no big plays. If the Vikings are going to score, make them earn it instead of giving them some big plays.
Yeah. That's what it's going to come down to, I think, is just which defensive line can get to which quarterback the most.
It's a home game for the Vikes. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, exactly. That's and yeah, that'll.
The Packers are 0-5 on the road this year, so.
Yeah,
that's kind of a big one too. Yeah. Vikings are at least equal opportunity losers. They'll lose at home and on the road. So
yeah, exactly. So let's go ahead and go to final score. What do you have for final score, Brian?
I'm going to go kind of big. I'm going to say 31-17 Vikings. I think they're going to bust out of the offensive slump just because they're home.
Yep.
If nothing else.
All right. There, Scott, what you got?
I'm going to go with 27-24 Packers.
Last.
Reason?
Yeah, anything? Any particular?
Because I think the Packers are going to win, and
He's a Packer fan.
they have to.
And they won a Super Bowl.
Some of the numbers I was looking at with the Vikings being 5-4-1, I was kind of surprised. Their 5 wins are against sub-500 teams combined 15-35, which I was like, oof.
Yep.
And then they've won 3 above 500 teams, obviously, and then the Bills upset was like the big shocker in that whole mess. So the Packers do have a better record against common opponents, just so you guys are aware of that this year.
I believe it. I believe it.
But where were those games all played?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 24.
They were at home though.
Minnesota 27 Packers and 5-5-1. Both teams will be after the game.
I like that score, the 27-24, but I think that'll be the Vikings win. I don't see, after what we did at Chicago, us coming out and being flat at home. I feel like, especially against the Packers, I feel like we're going to come out and we're going to try to score fast and quickly and a lot in the first half, and just not try to get behind. It'll be either way. It's going to be a fun game. It's always
is.
It's always a great game between us, and I think that's what makes the rivalry so good, is because of the quality of the games and the back and forth between us. So, that's. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to bring up about the game here coming up on Sunday. Anything?
Should be a good one. Like you guys said, it's a big rival, so it's always a great game. So it's be fun to watch.
I just hope the Vikings offensive coordinator takes the reins off a little bit, maybe mixes it up just a bit. That'd be nice. But it's always a good game. Looking forward to it.
Yep. No, it'll be a good Sunday night game for sure. So, I think we'll kind of wrap it up. Remember, get those 4 words to me for the Golden Gopher ticket giveaway. Email them to me at k953sportshow@gmail.com. And as always, please email me your Mount Rushmore at k953sportshow@gmail.com. Also, look forward to what you got, Brian?
You know what? We got to give a little shout out to the Wilmer Cardinals football team this week.
We talked about it before.
It's been an amazing season for them. The kids are playing hard. They got a little swagger. They're in the championship game for the first time in 45 years.
Yeah, it's been forever.
So I'm proud of those kids, and hopefully they put up another W.
Yeah, you and I were both at the game last Friday, and we talked a little bit. Color me impressed. Color me impressed with that team. For watching Cardinal football for so long and just seeing just crap all the time, it was so impressive. The throws, the catches, the runs, the spins, the tackles, just everything. The discipline,
fun team to watch.
On defense. I mean, they tried, the option a few times, and they would smell it out every single time. It was. I wish I could make the game Friday. I can't. I'll still watch it on.
I'll be there
TV.
for you.
Yeah, thank you. Cheer loud for me, but it'll be awesome if they take it home. I mean, it sounds like this next team is supposed to be a little more difficult. Yeah. 3 private schools, so mommy and daddy paid for their talent. So,
yes, but best of luck to the Cardinals. What a fun season, and to the seniors out there and all the kids, enjoy this moment. It's something you'll never forget.
Yep. Either way, good. Totally forgot about it. Glad you brought it up before we left, Dr. Brian. So we will wrap it up. Thank you, Dr. Brian. Thank you, Scott, for coming in. It's always a good conversation between us 3 when we're talking football, so I appreciate you guys coming in. Other than that, I think we will wrap it up, and good luck, Vikes. Good luck, Cardinals. We'll see you guys all next week.